Well, hello everyone. You have right here is this right here is a picture that I went ahead and took right here. This was back in I think it was September of last year that I was taking outside taking some pictures of the sky. I would say of the sun. Actually, the sun was nice and bright on that say that afternoon. But I came across this picture right here, and I know I posted up a video about this on a printout, but then this right here is that you're using Photoshop actually, and so just kind of moving at the mouse control just a little bit right here, and just to show everybody here that zooming in and zooming out on this picture right here. But this right here looks like this round shape right here, and whenever I took this picture, at first it looked like that it was like maybe like a light or something like that. It looks like to me a little bit like an object, but I also kept thinking too that that it's more likely that round object. And then I was also thinking too that to kind of zoom in and zoom out on it closely, and it looks like a little bit like the moon right there. But this right here, this picture, I kept it saved on my camera. Actually, I kept protected on my camera so I can keep it, for my records. That anything that we might find interesting in the sky, as of today, and you might see birds all the time, and you might even see maybe a few clouds, interesting looking clouds. But so far as objects like other planets, that maybe that you don't normally see, from visible, in the sky, from Earth, especially during the day. So whenever I took this picture right here, that the sun was so bright to the point where I just you got the camera out and just start taking pictures. And how many of us are going to maybe think this, to where you take a picture, and most of the time, that if you're really paying attention to what exactly is in the picture necessarily, any objects that are going to be visible. And you're also wondering too that what's this right here, that this part right here of the picture right here, it looks kind of like something that you would see on one of those science fiction source video games, like the Halo game or anything like that. But you got right here is the sky right here, and on the camera I can remember that I zoomed in pretty closely to the sun, so that way I can get a good focus on the sun. And sometimes it came out, there was clouds streaming over, streaming by the sun. It was, so it's like sometimes whenever I would have to zoom on, that it would be like, that you take a picture, and sometimes if the sun is so bright that you're going to go ahead and just look the other way while you go ahead and take the picture, because sometimes, if anybody warns us that if you were to try to focus your camera directly at the sun, if that's, I don't know if it burns the lens, but still, it can cause the camera to go out of focus. And I hear about that quite a bit, to where that it causes the camera itself to go out of focus. And so whenever I was taking this picture right here, I was also thinking too that you take a couple pictures of zoom in and zoom out of the sun, and just to kind of see, that ever since the solar eclipse, and just thinking about it, as to where if anybody say that what's one thing that you might find in the sky that whenever the clouds are going by, because on that day, it was about 3 or 4 weeks after the eclipse that I can remember that for whatever reason I was thinking, looking at the sun and just watching those clouds going by, that just thought I'd just take some pictures. And whenever I came across this picture right here, I would say that this picture, out of the 13 other ones that I have taken, I'm using Photoshop for this, but still, this picture out of about 13, maybe 10 or 8 other ones that I have taken, that I seen this round object right here. And I heard on the news that it's possible that it could be Planet X, and I even heard too that how many of us really believe that Planet X really exists, because that if it's just a big ball, chunk of ice, if you want to call it chunk of ice. But I remember reading about that, and I want to say on one of those magazines. But still, that looking at that right there, and I was also thinking too that this picture, of course, It was taken, I guess it's from the southeast or something like that, where the sun was facing. So if it's looking southeast, towards the west, towards the northwest or something, that usually the moon is usually facing. I guess if it'll be east or somewhere like that. But anyway, so yeah, I normally don't see the moon, right, because this picture right here was taken near the sun, and I was also thinking too that the sun would be at about right here with all those clouds and all that, yeah, with all those clouds going by. So I took this picture whenever there's a few clouds going past the sun, but still, that whenever I took this picture, there was this round object right here, and I was thinking as to what exactly is that, and we might even think too that okay, that's that is supposed to be right there. That's supposed to be the moon right there. But I'm also wondering too that why is it it can't be that close to the sun. But still, that the things that we see in the sky, we might see airplanes every now and then. But I tell you one thing, that pictures that I do one or two that pictures that you're able to capture on your camera, that you're able to get them captured on your camera with pretty good focus. You can see the round objects, but then of course maybe you can't recall all the details of the objects. But still, I was not able to see this from looking at the sun right here. So if anybody will want to where that pictures that your camera is able to get focused on, that it's able to capture, that you were not able to see it exactly from that moment, from that scene. So if anybody were wanting to where, yeah. How many of us are going to maybe wonder to where if you see Superman in the sky, then what are you going to think? But still, that, with this picture right here, I was also thinking too that, yeah, that object right there. And so, yeah, that with this object right here, and there was a news article published saying to where that Planet X was pretty closer to planet Earth than usual, but still, that talking about with this photograph right here, is the sun right here. But whenever I took this photograph, that it looks like if we can see this right here, that it looks like a fish, stingray, source fish flying in the sky, and then right here it looks like a little, like a frozen, round object right here. So it's like made out of ice. But yeah, I'm going to see if I can get a good focus here, that I can go ahead and zoom in a little bit more. But yeah, this right here is what the object would look like. If we can see that right there, and during the day, that I guess the moon does not really look like that. But I'm thinking too that it's possible it is the moon, but I wanted to word that from how the Earth orbits. I guess there are things that you might see facing south, compared to facing the west, east, or maybe part of east. But the things that you're able to capture on your camera, that maybe you can't see all of them in the sky. So it's like, if anybody wants, as to where you might see airplanes and birds or something like that in the sky, but still, that number one, if like, is it Planet X or is it the moon, or and then also that with that picture, if you were to import it into like Photoshop, and maybe if you want to add special effects to it, and maybe add that to like the national. I don't know about the National Geographic magazine, but if anybody wanted to where, back whenever you were a kid, if you want to pick a subject of what to talk about, maybe be about our planets, the way that Earth orbits, in our solar system. But anyway, you take a picture, and half the time that you like wanted to where back those old Kodak cameras, to where whenever you run out of film, it seems like you have to go out and buy more. But with digital technology, though, that you can you had that option where you take pictures, and anything that you don't want, you can delete them. But still, though, that with this picture right here, that I was also wondering too, that what exactly is that object, because it's like whenever I was looking at the camera, it looked like the light coming from the sun until I looked at it again, and it's like that looks right there. That right there looks like an object. So if anybody will want to where that you might see that almost all the time, maybe parts of Canada or anywhere like that. But I know that I have not seen very much of these pictures before, and the things that you're able to maybe capture on capture a photograph of something in the sky. But at the time that you're also wondering too that why is it that the moon will be so close, will be close to the sun. But I guess during that time, I guess and during that time of the eclipse, I guess it'll be like going through the moon shadow, and I guess the moon would still be orbiting around near the sun. But still though but how many of us will maybe think that that could be maybe Planet X, or more if anything it's the moon? But really, that I thought at first, I thought that more likely that round object right there was that light coming from the sun. So it's like just thinking that yeah, if anybody warns us to where you take a picture or something, and then you're likely thinking as to where that that ain't nothing new. I've seen it before. But really, that how many of us are going to maybe warn to where that if you zoom in on that picture right there of that round object right there, and maybe if you can recall if there's any what you call that any source of life, if there's water or anything like that. But still, that that the camera is out of focus, and sometimes though that whenever a camera is out of focus, then that can be very aggravating, because I know that you're getting pictures even from the outdoors, that if you're trying to capture any moments of space, and even in the stars, even the stars, trying to capture the stars, that you're trying to get a good focus on the camera, trying to get a good vantage point, a good view and a good distance for what you're trying to capture. But anyway, I just want to show everybody this and Photoshop work right here. But I kept this saved on my camera, for quite some time. But I was also warned too that that round object right there, my stuff that we're able to get on the camera. But I also warned too that how come that this the object that was in the picture, though, how come I was not able to see that in the sky? So that was my concern too, that the things, the moments that you're able to capture on camera, but you were not able to see them exactly from the viewpoint. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone. Have a great day.